This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Let's talk about some stuff that Meltzer would write. He says, Big Show did a podcast with Jericho, which we noted in last week's issue, where he made comments about Jim Ross, saying the guy in talent relations kept him down when he had influence, and saying he was never one of JR's guys. Ross has denied that, claiming it was he and Gerald Briscoe who made contact with White and recruited him. The heat may have stemmed from the decision to send White to OVW because they felt his weight had gotten out of control and he needed to be a fundamentally better wrestler. Here's the funny thing about that. White was earning $1 million a year on his contract, which was top guy money, and still today is top money. The idea that you would send a guy making that much money to OVW would have never happened unless Vince McMahon wanted it to happen. Ross doesn't deny he was a part of the decision making, so it can't be said that Vince made the call and Ross was just the bad guy delivering the news. But Ross was also the guy delivering the news. As I recall, he was told to get to a certain weight, which I think was under 400 pounds, or we wouldn't be brought back. But after spending a lot of time in OVW, where he was making the company no money, and he had lost weight, but not nearly down to the 400 mark, they still brought him back. This is an interesting discussion that I wanted to talk to you about, because it does feel like guys, for whatever reason, get put in the quote unquote heat position. And certainly JR's in it here, where it's Vince McMahon's company. Everything that happens there is what Vince wants to have happen. But unfortunately, you've got to be the guy who's the bearer of bad news. And whether it's Johnny Ace or it's Mark Carrano or it's Jim Ross, they're just sort of the guy delivering the message, or at least that's been my take. You were there. Where do you stand on this?
Well, I wasn't involved on any of those conversations, but I'm sure it wasn't JR's bright idea to go, okay, he's overweight. Let's send him down to OVW, let him work a couple days a week and pay him $1 million. Now, who's getting punished here in this story? Is there supposed to be somebody that's getting punished? Because for me, other than traveling the world, sitting in airplane seats that Show couldn't fit in and driving his ass off every night to make that same $1 million, he's going down to OVW, going back from his hotel over to the arena, probably to do TV and maybe one house show or two on the weekend that were probably 100 miles away. You tell me, who got the better end of that deal?
No, I would be in OVW every week. If it means I don't have to get on an airplane 14 times a week, count me in.
Well, yeah, and him sitting in a rent-a-car driving, there's no comfortable seat for a giant, guys. Let's face it. I've seen it. I've seen Andre try to sit, in a whole row of seats. I've seen him try to sit the first class seat. Same with Show. Sit in a rent-a-car. They just don't fit on things that are designed for human beings. They're giants. So anytime, Show gets a break on that, more power to him. I just don't think that was JR's initial idea. He may have looked at that if Show took it to heart, that would be a good way for him to go down there and do some extra cardio and get to the gym, more and do all the things that they wanted him to do to drop the weight. He would have a better opportunity being off some days and just devoting to just losing the weight by being at OVW. So I just think JR possibly might have agreed with it under those situations, I'm sure, but nobody does anything in that company. And I mean anything. You don't piss and miss the toilet seat in that company unless Vince McMahon says it's okay.
And next up, we've got The Miz coming out to talk about how the three-way match wasn't happening. He talked about his branding team had already made plans for him where he would have won the Intercontinental title here. And he says he's already booked talk show appearances as the new champion, but Ryback got hurt, so the match was postponed. He said he's known Ryback since Tough Enough and that the guy really is a big pansy. And Miz said that Ryback knows that Miz is the toughest guy in WWE and that Big Show's been missing since the Attitude Era and he should just retire and they should just declare him champion tonight. And besides, St. Louis isn't a real city like Los Angeles. And I mean, just look at the Rams. They knew that and they moved back. And then of course, Big Show comes out. Miz does a 180, said, no, I wanted to be your tag team partner again. Show just knocks him out and walks off. Not exactly a match, but a fun little segment. And, you get a little cheap heat with the crowd, and then they get their big payoff with the knockout. It's an easy night for Big Show and Miz, and I'm sure Miz had a lot of fun out here healing it up with the crowd.
Miz is good. He's an 80s heel. You know, he gets that cheap heat. He picks on the locals. You know, he says all the stupid stuff that's so obvious that it's the opposite of what's going on. He's good on that stick. And if you'll let him talk, he'll get some heat. And to me, if you're that kind of heel and you got that kind of heat and you're standing there facing a giant, a one-shot knockout is the best possible outcome. It's great little story. And you accomplished everything. Miz got some heat. Show stayed the giant.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.